Spiritual Counsel by Fenelon on self-abandonment. If you would fully comprehend the meaning of self-abandonment, recall the interior difficulty which you felt, and which you were naturally testified when I direct you always to count as nothing this self which is so dear to us. To abandon one's self is to count one's self as naught, and he who hence perceives the difficulty of doing it has already learned what that renunciation is, which rewards our nature. Since you have felt the blow, it is evident that it has fallen upon the sore spot in your heart. Let the all-powerful hand of God work in you, as he well knows how to tear you from yourself. The origin of our trouble is that we allow ourselves with a blind passion that amounts to idolatry. If we allow anything beyond, it's only for our own sakes. We must be undeceived by respecting all those generous friendships in which it appears as though we so far forgot ourselves as to think only of the interests of our friend. If the motive of our friendship is not low and gross, it's nevertheless still selfish, and the more delicate, the more concealed, and the more proper in the eyes of the world it is, the more dangerous does it become, and the more likely to poison us by feeding our self-love. In those friendships which appear both to ourselves, to the world, and to the world, so generous and disinterested, we seek, in short, the pleasure of loving without recompense. And by the indulgence of so noble a sentiment for raising ourselves above the weak and sordid of our race, besides the tribute which we pay to our own pride, we seek from the world the reputation of disinterestedness and generosity. We desire to be loved by our friends, although we do not desire to be served by them. We hope that they will be charmed with what we do for them without any expectation of return. In this way, we get that word return which we seem to despise. But what is more delicious to a delicate self-love than to hear self applauded for not being self-love? You may have seen someone who seemed to think of everyone but himself, who was the delight of good people, who was well-disciplined, and seemed entirely forgetful of herself. The self-oblivion is so great that self-love even would imitate it, and finds no glory equal to that of seeming to seek none at all. This moderation and self-renunciation, which, if genuine, would be the death of nature, become, on the other hand, the most subtle and imperceptible food for pride, which despises all ordinary forms of glory, and desires only that which is to be secured by trembling underfoot all the gross objects of ambition, which captivate ordinary minds. But it is not a difficult matter to unmask this modest arrogance, this pride, which seems no pride at all. So much does it appear to have renounced all the ordinary objects of desire, condemn it, and it can bear to be found fault with. Let those whom it allows fail to repel it with friendship, esteem, and confidence. It is stung to the quick. It's easy to see that it's not disinterested. Though it tries so hard to seem so, it does not indeed accept the payment. He as gross corn as others. It does not desire insipid praise or money, or that good fortune which consists in office and dignities, it must be paid. Nevertheless, is greedy with the esteem of good people, allowed that it may be loved again and be admired for its disinterestedness. It seems to forget itself that by that means it may draw the attention of the whole world upon itself alone. It does not, indeed, make all these reflections in full detail. It does not say in so many words, I will deceive the whole world with my generosity, in order that the world may love and admire me. No, it would not dare to address such a gross and unworthy language to itself. It deceives itself to the rest of the world. It admires itself in its generosity as Bella and admires her beauty in the mirror. It's affected by perceiving that it is more generous and more disinterested than the rest of mankind. The illusion in the prepare for others extends to the self. It passes with itself for what it passes itself upon others. That is, for generosity, and that is what pleases it more than anything else. However little we may have looked within to study the occasions of our pleasure and our grief, we shall have no difficulty in admitting that the pride that is more or less delicate, has various tastes, but in giving it what taste you will, it is still pride. And that which appears the most restrained, the most reasonable, is the most devilish. It esteems itself, it despises others, it pities those who are pleased with the foolish vanities. It recognizes emptiness of greatness and rank. It cannot buy those who are intoxicated with good fortune. It would by its moderation be above fortune, and thus reach itself to a new height by putting underfoot all the false glory of men. Like Lucifer, it would become like to the Most High. It would be a sort of divinity above all human passions and interests, and it does not perceive that it seeks to place itself above men by this deceitful pride which blinds it. We may be sure then that it is the law of God only that it can make us come out of self. If His powerful hand does not sustain us, we should not know how to take the first step in that direction. There's no middle course. We must refer everything either to God or to self.